Hello friends, today we are again here with a new bone. Myself Dr. Madhuri Mahadar, I am Associate Professor in College of Ayurveda and Research Center, Akurdi, Pune. Today we will study the tibia. Tibia is the bone of the leg and it is present on the medial side. The type of the bone is long bone, so it has again three parts: the upper end, middle, that is shaft, and lower end. Now the points of side determination. The upper end of the tibia is expanded side to side and it has two condyles. The lower end is narrow and on the medial side it shows the medial malleolus. And the anterior border is the sharpest border and it is S-shaped. So this is the bone of the left side. Now we will see the bone of the right side. Again, the tibia has upper end expanded from side to side. The lower end shows the medial malleolus on the medial side and the anterior border is the sharp border. So this is the bone of the right side. This bone articulates with the femur bone to form the knee joint and articulates below with the talus to form the ankle joint. So this is the ankle joint here. Now we will see the detailed information of the tibia. The type of bone is long bone, so it has three parts: upper part, upper end, shaft and lower end. The upper end has two condyles, the lateral condyle and the medial condyle, and also an intercondylar area and the tibial tuberosity here on the anterior side. The medial condyle articulates with the medial condyle of the femur. It has two parts. The central part is concave and it articulates with the condyle of the femur, and the peripheral part is separated from the condyle by the medial meniscus. The lateral condyle has also two parts. The central part is articulating with the lateral condyle of the femur and the lateral or the periphery part is separated from it by the lateral meniscus. This is the tibial tuberosity. It has two parts, the upper part smooth and lower rough part. The upper smooth part gives attachment to ligamentum patelli and the lower smooth part is subcutaneous. Now the intercondylar area. It is roughened. It has two ridges. It is lying in between the two condyles of the tibia. Now we will see the shaft. The shaft has three borders and three surfaces. It is prismoid in shape. The three borders are the anterior border, the lateral, or it is also called as the interosseous border, and the medial border. The anterior border is divided into two parts. Upper, it is being S-shaped and it is convex in the upper part. Now the medial border, it is the rounded border here. It is starting from the medial condyle and it extends from the medial condyle to the posterior border of the medial malleolus. This is the posterior border of the medial malleolus. It will come from the medial condyle and it will extend up to the posterior border of the medial malleolus. Now the interosseous border, it extends or it starts from the lateral condyle and from the front of the fibular facet. Here is the fibular facet. From it starts and it goes up to the anterior border of the lower fibular facet. This is the lower fibular facet. It goes from there to the anterior border of lower fibular facet. This is the interosseous border. Now because of these three borders, the shaft of the tibia is divided into three surfaces: the medial surface, the anterior surface and the posterior surface. The medial surface will lie between the anterior border and medial border. The anterior surface lies from in between the anterior border and the interosseous or the lateral border. And the posterior surface lies between the interosseous border and the medial border. This is the posterior surface. Now, the medial border or the medial surface, it is subcutaneous throughout. The anterior border is most prominent border. It is also subcutaneous throughout and it is also called as shin of tibia. The anterior surface is concave in its upper 3/4 part and is directed laterally, and lower 1/4 part it is directed anteriorly. The posterior surface. The posterior surface which lies in between the interosseous border and the medial border. It is also divided into upper triangular part by a line. This is the soleal line. It separates the posterior surface into upper triangular part and the lower part. The lower part is again divided by a vertical ridge into medial and lateral parts. The soleal line, above the soleal line we can see the insertion of the popliteus muscle. Here is the insertion of the popliteus muscle. Now, in the lower part on the medial side you can see the nutrient foramen. This is the nutrient foramen. It is the branch of the posterior tibial artery. It supplies the nutrition to the tibia. Now, the lower end. The lower end is slightly expanded. It has 5 surfaces: the anterior surface, medial surface, lateral surface, inferior surface and a posterior surface. 5 surfaces. The anterior surface, it is again divided into 2 parts. The upper smooth and the lower part, it is grooved part. It is rough part. The medial surface here, it is subcutaneous throughout and it continues below as the medial malleolus. The lateral surface, this is the lateral surface. It is also called as the fibular surface. It has fibular facet. It forms the lower tibiofibular joint here. On the inferior surface is also articular surface. Here you can see that the inferior surface of the tibia articulates with the trochlear surface of the talus and it forms the ankle joint. Medially, this articular surface descends down and it continues with the medial malleolus. Now the posterior surface. Here, the posterior surface, it is a smaller surface. This is the medial malleolus which is extending from the medial surface downwards. It is short. It projects downwards from the medial surface of the lower end of the tibia and it also forms the medial malleolus. Now we will see the attachment of the tibia. This is the medial condyle. On the posterior surface here, there is the attachment of the semimembranosus, that is insertion of the semimembranosus muscle. The capsular ligament of the knee joint is attached to the upper border here. The capsular ligament of the knee joint is attached. Now we will see the attachment of the lateral condyle here. The lateral condyle on the anterior surface, it is attached, it gives attachment to the iliotibial tract. It also gives attachment to the superior tibiofibular joint's capsular ligament. that is the capsular ligament of superior tibiofibular joint, is attached to the margins of the fibular facets here. The posterior surface of the lateral condyle here, it is having a groove for the tendon of the popliteus muscle. Now we will see the attachments of the intercondylar area here. This area lies between the lateral condyle and the medial condyle. On the anterior side here, there is the attachment of anterior horn of medial meniscus just in front of the medial articular surface. Behind it, there is the attachment of the anterior cruciate ligament. Behind this, just above the intercondylar eminence, this is the intercondylar eminence. Just in front of this intercondylar eminence, there is the anterior horn of lateral meniscus. Just behind this intercondylar eminence, we can see the posterior horn of lateral meniscus. Behind this, there is the insertion of or attachment of posterior horn of medial meniscus. And onto the posterior smooth area here, we will see the attachment of posterior cruciate ligament. So the intercondylar gives attachment to the ligaments of the knee joint. On the tibial tuberosity, it is having two parts. The upper part is attached to the ligamentum patelli and the lower part is subcutaneous. There is the infrapatellar bursa. These were the attachments of the upper end of the tibia. Now we will see the attachment of the shaft of the tibia. This is the lateral surface. On the lateral surface, upper 2/3 surface, we can see the origin of the tibialis anterior muscle. On the medial side, on the upper end here, from before backwards, we can see the insertion of sartorius, gracilis and semitendinosus. Sartorius, gracilis and semitendinosus. We will see the attachment on the colored tibia. This is the medial malleolus. So this is the medial surface. From before backwards, we can see attachment of the sartorius, gracilis and semitendinosus. Here the tibial collateral ligament is attached. Now the posterior surface, this is the soleal line. The soleal line gives origin to the soleus muscle. Just above the soleus muscle, on this triangular area, the popliteus muscle takes insertion. Below the soleal line, the inferior surface is divided by vertical ridge into two parts. This is the vertical ridge. It is divided into two parts. This is the medial area and this is lateral area. The medial area gives origin to the flexor digitorum longus. Here is the origin of the flexor digitorum longus. And the lateral area gives origin to the tibialis posterior muscle. Here is the origin of the tibialis posterior. Now, on the anterior surface, here the anterior border is attached to the deep fascia of the leg. This is the anterior border. It is attached to the deep fascia of the leg. The upper rough part of the fibula here. Now in this bone, the upper part has been destructed. But here is the fibular facet. Here we can see the attachment of the superior tibialofibular joint. Now on the lower side here is the fibular facet. It forms the inferior tibiofibular facet. Here we can see the attachment of the capsular ligament of the inferior tibiofibular joint. Now on the medial side, this is the medial malleolus. It is giving attachment to the deltoid ligament of the ankle joint. Now the relations on the lower part of the tibia. This is the anterior surface of the lower part of the tibia. The relations from medial to lateral are, first is the tibialis anterior muscle, then extensor hallucis longus, then anterior tibial artery, deep peroneal nerve and extensor digitorum longus, and fifth is the peroneus tertius. So 5 attachments are seen on the anterior surface of the lower end of the tibia from medial to lateral. First is tibialis anterior, then is extensor hallucis longus, anterior tibial artery, deep peroneal nerve, then extensor digitorum and peroneus tertius. Same attachments or 4 attachments you can see on the posterior side from medial to lateral are tibialis posterior, flexor digitorum longus, posterior tibial artery, tibial nerve and flexor hallucis longus. Tibialis posterior, flexor digitorum longus, posterior tibial artery, tibial nerve and flexor hallucis longus. This was all about the tibia. Now we will see the ossification of this tibia. The tibia ossifies from one primary center and 2 secondary centers. The primary centers appear in the 7th week of intrauterine life. The secondary center for the upper end, it is formed just after birth, just before birth on the upper end, and it fuses with the shaft by 16 to 18 years for the upper end. And the lower end has the secondary center which is developed in the first year after birth, and it fuses with the shaft in 15 to 17th year. Clinical anatomy. The upper end of the tibia is the commonest site for acute osteomyelitis. The upper end of the tibia. The upper end of the tibia is the common site for acute osteomyelitis here. Then the tibia is commonly fractured at the junction of upper 2/3 and lower 1/3. Here, this is the common site of fracture of the tibia. The lower end of the tibia articulates with the superior surface of the talus and forms the ankle joint. So there is always dislocation of the tibia on the anterior side. It is common. So these are the 3 points of clinical anatomy of tibia. This was all about the description of the tibia. Thanks for watching this video. And if any doubts regarding the anatomy of the tibia, kindly put your suggestions in the comment box. Thank you.